100 girlfriends.
Yeah, 100 girlfriends.
Rios was just telling me about his autismo notes. Oh my god, real dude?
Yeah, I guess this is for this chapter. These are for like the previous chapter, I think.
I love this guy. He's a real one. I'll tell you what.
So if the last chapter features some of the weakest traits of this series, then this chapter showcases one of its greatest strengths: the ability to recognize and explore incredibly fine distinctions between and within characters. Now, normally, I wouldn't read it like that, but
that's excellent.
Basically.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, I think that this series. It seems like a weird comparison, but I always make the comparison to One Piece in the sense that like they both authors have created like these perfect. Oh, here, let me go over to fucking not have our Discord on screen here. Yeah. They both authors have created these like perfect sandboxes for them to create nearly infinite stories, right? Mm-hmm. Like with Oda for One Piece, he can essentially just keep going forever because each island can be its own little microcosm story, right? And then for this series, what is the basis of all good storytelling? Character interaction and drama. Yeah. Exactly. And he basically has like a character for every mental illness, drama, trauma, any type of like event you could possibly think of. Yeah. So like, you know, and like, I mean, at this point, I could see like, I mean, like I do this with fanfic, right? It's like you see a character and you're like, oh man, this character would be so perfect to write about my experiences with this, right? Because they also feel like they've been through that. With this author, it's like, okay, I want to write a thing about like indecisiveness and being too scared to commit to decisions. Who do I have that's perfect for that? Boom! You know what I mean? It's just, it works so well. And then who's the opposite of that? Who makes decisions instantly? Yeah. Boom! And then it writes itself. It's like, go ahead.
It's just beautiful. Like, I mean, like, because like I mentioned this in like Aira's part of the ranking chapter or whatever, but like her story is kind of like all about coping mechanisms, and like I always say, life is all about coping mechanisms. Like I don't know, like it's like we all have to deal with the fact that the world was not made for our personal convenience, and like you know, we have to cope with the fact that there are things that piss us off or scare us or like, you know, make us depressed, and how you deal with that is a big part of, you know, how you move through the world. And in Edgar's case, it's a reason why she's so like terrified of everything that she can't kick, because kicking is her coping mechanism, but it only works for certain things. And when your coping mechanism, once your coping mechanisms stop working, then you kind of like things kind of fall apart quickly.
I think my biggest connection with this chapter was, you know, and this is one of those chapters I think that is tier list moving, right? Like I think in the past I have, now remind me her name again, Kicking Girl. You know how I am.
Aira.
Aira is like, I think previously I had her at like a high C. This definitely moves her to like a high B for me, because now I feel this like relation to her in this. Like I don't know if I've ever told you this story. I'd love to tell it to you, but you said something about the coping mechanisms not working, and that really clicked with me because I used to have a bunch of those with like my OCD and like I remember when I first discovered the idea of mortality and like, yeah, do you remember when you first realized that you're gonna die one day?
Actually it was a really interesting, because like I remember I was like, especially because I was 8 years old, and I'd realized that like if you just add like a 0 to the 8, and I'd be like 80 years old, and I realized that, oh, like I'm gonna be one day I'm gonna be 80 years old, and everything between, you know, now and then is gonna happen. And I guess even this is part of that space. But anyway, I realized that inevitably I was also going to like die one day, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. It's weird to wrap your mind around. And eventually I came to the conclusion that like, I mean, as long as I can do what I want to do with my life, I don't really care much about being dead.
I'm much less scared about the actual death part now, but something that I had a huge issue with as a child, and I've gotten better at dealing with, but it still kind of plagues my whole life, is like time management, how much time is wasted, you know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons why I hate the idea of working a full-time job, you know what I mean? Because I just feel like,
Yeah.
man, like when I look back on my life, like how much of my time was spent stocking shelves at a Walmart, or you know, it's like, man, I have this one finite life. And the moment in my life, and it's such a weird story, but the moment in my life that like clicked that with me, like I feel like I knew on like an intellectual level, like yeah, one day I'm gonna die, but it didn't start, like I didn't start thinking about it until I watched the Adam Sandler movie Click. Have you seen that movie?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know how that movie surprisingly gets like really dark and sad?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I watched it, but I do remember, like, bits and pieces.
So that movie was advertised as like a comedy. The advertisements were, and you know, very like outdated. Like these would not fly these days. But like I remember the advertisements were him using the fucking click remote to like rewind and then watch over and over again like a girl jogging on the side of the road and like slow-mo her tits to like watch them bouncing. That's how that was fucking advertised. And my like middle school brain was like, funny Adam Sandler comedy. Let's go watch that. And then it fucked me up because like he fast forwards through all the boring, quote unquote boring parts of his life, and then he's like, he blinks and he's on his deathbed, and like his family doesn't love him, his children don't love him, and he's like, I wasted my whole life. And I thought about that for years and years and years, and like it's still kind of in my head. So like I feel like that moment for me was the moment that we saw in her flashback where her dad was like, well, you can't just kick all your problems away. And she's like, what? What do you mean, Dad? You taught me to, you raised me to be strong. I thought that meant I'd have no worries ever. I thought I could just like beat everything. When the IRS comes to collect my taxes, I'm going to kick the shit out of her and then I'll be fine.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it just don't work that way.
Well, see, the cops have these things called guns, and
And even if you can kick the bullets away, which I'm not taking off the table, they have more.
They'll outnumber you. Yeah. How many people do you think you could kick until? You know that fucking hypothetical? Like, would you rather fight? What is it? Like 100 child-sized ducks or 100 duck-sized children? I don't remember what it is.
It's like I think it's horse-sized duck versus duck-sized horse or something like that. But yeah, I'm not very confident in my kicking ability. I mean, I guess against like duck-sized horses, duck-sized horses it might. But granted, horses are famous for their kicking abilities. So
dude, a horse will fucking kill you in one kick.
Yeah.
If you're behind it and it kicks your head, it'll fucking snap your neck. Those things are crazy. I would not fuck with any horses ever. No, specifically though, this is actually just in the future. I need to see a chapter with like her in like a tournament or something, and they're all like going there to support her. I want to see how powerful she is. I need to see her tested.
Nice.
I need to see a DBZ tournament arc.
You're gonna see some other, I guess, like fighters as well.
That'd be sick. Yeah, I'm sure that gorilla lady will be there.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I'll say a couple more things, and then I'll let you cook with your notes here. But like for me, definitely, like I really, that was my big thing. Is just like I felt such a personal connection to her on like the wavering thing and the being indecisive thing, and like I've tried to, as I've grown older, develop coping mechanisms to try to force myself through decisions, you know, and sometimes that leads to trouble for me, right? So like I used to be so wavering in just the things that I would say to friends that I would be really quiet, right? And we've talked about this. One of the ways I do reviews is I just talk and talk and talk and talk, and I remove the filter, and that's how I can just fucking blabber on forever. And that's a coping mechanism. I did that because otherwise I wasn't talking at all. But that can lead me to get into trouble in social situations because if I think something's funny, I'll be at like family Christmas and I'll be like, man, why'd you wear that shirt? That shit looks ugly as hell just because I think it's funny. And then like, they'll be like, that's rude. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were like, that happens to me often. But if I don't, I'll overthink everything. My brain's always been like a light switch on, light switch off kind of thing. There's no middle ground, you know. I feel like I have to like extreme one way or extreme the other. So I really felt this chapter because like this is what this chapter is, the one extreme and the other. And of course the actual answer is this healthy middle where it's like, hey, take your time to see what you want in life, and then when you're confident in it, go through with that decision and be confident. And you know, I really like that. It's a good message and good characters to convey it with.
Yeah, I always the messages they come up with are always pretty. I mean, I guess like life affirming almost. Like that might be overselling, but they're always
No, I
very
think you're
good.
totally right, and especially in Japan, which is like a super like toxic work culture, right? Like it's nice to have this author be very like. It reminds me too. I recently over the weekend I actually got my buddy Andrew into this series. We watched all 12 episodes of the anime, and he loves it already. And I was able to rewatch the Nano episode, and Rentaro and Nano have this argument about like the value of a human life, and it's like your life has value
Yeah, I
even
remember that.
even though you're not being efficient. It's okay to just like just living alone is value, right? Like so I that's kind of reaffirmed here by the author. Like it's okay if you're not efficiently going through life. Like I'm gonna go to college and then I'm gonna get this job and then I'm gonna do this career. It's like the doddering or the dawdling and the wavering, that's part of a human life, and that inherently has value just because you're alive and you're living it. So I like that.
Yeah, that's something in May's I guess backstory, which we see in like one of the volume
flashback
extras.
here.
Yeah, Hahari says pretty much the exact same thing there, and it's I see that May is sort of like paying that forward by saying the same thing you said to her to Aira now, and helping her like understand, because like her parents said something to Aira that she didn't really understand initially, but it was because of her interaction with May that she was able to like properly contextualize and understand what her parents said. I'm trying to find.
Yeah,
find
let me see if I can find it too. It's
page.
the basically like, hey, the dojo may or may not be there in the future. I want you to go to college so you have like options in the future, right?
They're basically telling her to waver more, to not commit too soon. And she was finally able to ironically commit to wavering, because her issue was that she was wavering on whether she should waver or commit to that. But now she's committed to wavering, which is
that's such an interesting. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Those sort of weird sorts of weird paradoxes are often where you find growth. Like you have to, in order to break out of the like mental straitjacket, and you do have to do crazy shit sometimes. You gotta do something that seems doesn't make any sense within the system that you're in, because how else can you break out into a new system? But like that.
And I love that she has such supportive parents, because like, we have a handful of parents that are bad, I mean, the main one obviously is the Shizuka one, but like, it's really nice that a lot of these girls actually do have really supportive parents. It's a nice break from the typical manga tradition of all the parents being awful,
Yeah, either awful or dead.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, is there? It's such a like it's a great chapter, but I also, when I was reading it, I was like, it's very self-explanatory. It almost speaks for itself. I wonder how much more I can add to it other than like my own personal relations with the chapter. Do you have anything more to say? I have like panels I want to talk about and jokes, obviously, but is any more deepness?
Okay. An interesting thing that gets brought up in the chapter 138, which was the roadwork chapter.
The famous roadwork chapter.
Yeah, like roadwork. I sure hope it does, but anyway. it's like on page 17, but it's like this is right after Aira saved them from that runaway like bulldozer had the fucking dog on it. But so this is like they're saying like, it's true that you may be a little timid, but I believe that's exactly why you are so conscientious and sympathetic towards others when they are afraid. And it's interesting because that's kind of like May is kind of like cheating that by making everyone else's desires by putting everyone else's desires above hers all the time. So she's kind of like getting that benefit all the time, but at the cost, of course, of her own personal independence kind of thing. It's like if Aira's coping mechanism is kicking everything, then May's is like her utter devotion to, in this case, Sahari. And it's like she's by anchoring yourself to like some sort of bedrock principle or person, you do away with a whole bunch of like issues and variables that might put doubt and indecision in your mind, which in the process you gain a kind of serenity. But of course the price for that is that you give up like self-determination and independence and stuff like that. So and you, that line from 138 there about like your can you say the line one more time? I just want to make sure I don't misquote it. Do you still have it up? Yeah. But I believe that's exactly why you are so conscientious and sympathetic when others are afraid. And I
Yes.
like they specifically emphasize that others.
Yeah, so like I really like that line because like, I don't want to like gas myself up. It's really hard to like say like, hey, this is a part of my personality that I actually am really proud of without coming off like a
Yeah.
an asshole. But like, something that I really am proud of myself of is I do feel like I'm a very empathetic person. I feel like I try to be really, really kind and patient with people. I've talked to you about how I have issues with learning new jobs and like doing them fast enough. So like I've had so many issues in my life of like being the new guy at a job or at a workplace and like sucking ass at it. And those like few nice managers or those nice coworkers make the world of difference. So like going through life, I've always tried to be that, like very patient, very understanding. So like I like that paradox, right? Of like, we all go through life wishing that everything went perfect, that we didn't have to stress or worry, but it is those stresses and worries that make us good people, right? That like, to an extent, right? I mean, everything is like, you don't want too much. Too much of it'll break you, obviously, but like, you can't live a life with no struggles at all, with no adversity, because it is those struggles and adversity that like give you character and make you the
They
person
force
you are.
you to develop better, healthier coping mechanisms, which then you can also help to, spread to other people and help them develop healthier coping mechanisms.
Which, by the way, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like I just thought about this now, and maybe I don't know if I'm overthinking this or not, but like artists and authors love their metaphors, right? Just as you were saying that, I thought about how, and I had mentioned the fact that you can't live a life without some adversity because the adversity like shapes you into who you are. The sauna that they do at the end is one.
Oh yeah, that was so fucking funny.
Very funny. Love those panels. I absolutely just adore.
As soon as I saw him running so happy, I was like, "All right, what's the next page?" And then it's like they're screaming, and like May's got her like her mind has fled her body, and then like her soul a second later. But yeah,
No, but I was gonna say though that might be. I wonder if that's an intentional metaphor because the
they help
idea
each
of.
other.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, they literally died and then brought themselves back to life by helping each other pull themselves back into their own bodies.
Even beyond that, though, right? Like the purpose of like, I'm sure, have you? Because I've actually been trying to do this more often. Is not have like a boiling hot shower, but actually do more cold showers. Have you read about how that's actually really healthy for you?
I've read about it, but I'm always it's
Some people can't do it. Some people can't do it.
Cold showers are so like. It's not even like painful. It's like my body just immediately reacts. It's like, no, I can't.
My experience, because I agree, it's awful. The first
lukewarm, I can handle like lukewarm and stuff, but
the first 30 seconds or so are awful. But your body does get used to it. And then if you can like stick through it, and like so I tried it once where I just had an actual like straight up cold shower. And when I got out, it's true. You feel way more energized. You feel energized. Your aches and pains are less. And especially like going from the hot to the cold. Like I've done that before. It actually does make you feel really good. And I think I wonder if this is an intentional metaphor for the idea of like these are things that are uncomfortable for our bodies. They suck. They feel terrible, but you feel better afterwards because you went through them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it's like that's why like astronauts their bones literally start to waste away because they don't have that constant stress of gravity of the Earth trying to pull you down. So I mean, yeah. We got the metaphors are here.
I even saw a TikTok recently that made me think of this. Right, like it was a guy talking about how like we spend so much of our lives, especially going into adulthood, seeking comfort, right? We have the AC on when we're inside. We have fans if we're ever sweating. I'm trying to think of other examples. We I don't know, sleep on like really soft beds, but it's that in comfort that like steels your body to be more comfortable in the future, and like because I notice when I go to the gym and I like run do a hard run. While I'm doing it, it sucks. I hate it, but right when I'm done, I feel great. I feel energized. I feel like I'm lighter than air, like I'm floating, So I really do like that metaphor. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, when I was working out, it did feel nice after a good workout. It's like my body's felt, I don't know, like
it feels like a cleanse almost, like you just feel. I don't know if you go too long with it, because I've had, especially with the unemployment stint that I just had, you can, if you just lay around or sit around for like days on end, you can start to just feel so sluggish and gross. But like a quick little workout, man, boom, you'd feel great. So like I love that metaphor, and honestly, that's a great message for me in the place where I am, where again, I cannot establish enough how much I am similar to her in this regard. Where like I feel like there's so many moments in my life where I could have tried to shoot for a higher career, or I went to college, I have a degree, but I still find myself working in warehouses and stores, and it's not because I couldn't try to apply for these places, but every time I go to, I'm thinking like, I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough for a job like that. So like, I hold myself back so hard because of my cowardice and my fear of like failure, So I really, really did empathize with this chapter, and it's yet another chapter that like I read it right when I needed it, just like during my unemployment stint when I read the Tama introduction chapter and her terrifiedness of like getting a job and like that. It was like, I mean, this series has really been here for me emotionally when I need it, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good story. I don't even want to call this a series. It's a good story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Another thing that I want to touch on is like May saying, like, I don't think this got too much play in the story, but she like offhandedly describes herself as someone who has no ability to think deeply. And I think that's probably where some of her, I mean, that's where her insecurities are almost certainly lying. Like she, like, I think that's ironically her experience, the same kind of wavering that Aira is always feeling. Is just that May has really, I wouldn't say good coping mechanisms. She just chooses to use the same coping mechanisms for every single situation. Like it'd be like if Aira decided to decided to deal with everything via kicks. But
that's something we need to see her break out of that shell one day, right? Because she's doing the same thing I do when someone asks me to do like math, where instead of even trying, I'm like, no, I'm bad, I'm terrible at math. Fucking someone else do it, So she, I mean, let's be honest, she views herself as lower than human. Like,
like they even mentioned like in her backstory, whatever, like she was apparently abused by her family before she was kicked out and left basically in the middle of like the winter snowy streets to like die until Hari found it. But yeah,
so she probably felt like a burden, when you're a young kid like that, you can't comprehend that like it's your parents that are in the wrong, you know what I mean? Like this reminds me of you watched Bleach, remember? Wasn't Rukia's mom and Rukia's sister, right? They like ran out because their family couldn't feed them or something, right? And then she like left infant little Rukia like on the street because she couldn't take care of her, right? Something like that.
Yeah, pulling some Greek like death by exposure type shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, well, it's out of sight, out of mind. But yeah, I mean, I think that's something that I hope we see in the future. And we've seen little bits of this where all the family members are like, please, love yourself. Even in the beginning, she's like, you don't have to call us Sama, and she's trying not to.
Eira-chan Sama.
You're calling me like Chi-Chi calls Goku. Which, by the way, you're usually really good at like telling me like the Japanese jokes like that are kind of lost in translation. So like, that's like how Chi-Chi calls Goku. Do you know?
I actually didn't know, because actually when I looked at the Raws for it, like, it doesn't. It's not actually, because I think what happened is the localized is real, because he is calling her Goku. But I think like the localizers realized that they had to like add in the bit about her saying like Chi called Goku, otherwise we wouldn't like have recognized,
so it must be some kind of like
the reference is easier for the Japanese to understand, I guess, so they had to like add some.
It's probably something like the combination of sounds she's making sounds like Goku, I'm guessing.
Let me see. Where was it? Yeah, he's like, it's like, well, this will be like Greek to you, but he's like Goku. Oh, like Goku sa mitai, like, which is basically saying like Goku or something like that, like as in Goku is basically what she's saying, and they had to add in like the way that Chi calls Goku, but yeah.
Interesting. I'll be curious to see how the official volume translates that part. Let's see, and then in terms of just like, good.
Oh yeah, I mean that's gonna be kind of a letdown, because the unofficial localization is fucking like a masterclass. So I'm not sure how the officials are gonna even match
I think
the
the
quality.
officials have been pretty comparable. Because at first I was
I
worried.
haven't read any of it.
Yeah, I have a couple of the volumes. I was worried that they maybe wouldn't be able to do copyright stuff, with all the references. But I guess there must be some kind of law that lets them, because I got the volume where they're doing the golden, just like Golden Kamuy, the aphrodisiac beaver soup or whatever the fuck, and they actually do just straight up say that's just like Golden Kamuy. So I don't know if they're just allowed to.
There's no JoJo situation where it's like, what was like dirty deeds done
At a
like that.
reasonable price.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the difference between like song titles versus like other stories that you can just reference them. I'm not too sure how that kind of law works. We get some gorgeous women feet.
Yeah.
God, debated you. I got you. No,
yeah, he really did.
No, also just gorgeous women. May is like really skinny, like almost like concerningly skinny.
I think part of it is just the changes in art style over the course of the series, because he definitely in earlier chapters he definitely doesn't look this like stick.
I wanted to read into it though and be like, I wonder if that's leftover like emaciation from like being starving on the street.
Thinking, that would be, I mean that would be the kind of thing they would pull in this series. They'd be like, yeah, she was permanently stunted from that malnutrition.
It's very possible, yeah. And she probably, I mean, I could even see it as like a hobby. Like she still doesn't eat as much as she should. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Like, I don't deserve this meal or whatever.
Or like, I don't deserve as much as the rest of you. Like I could see her doling out like portions, and then she gives herself like half of what they're getting, and she's like, "Well, I'd be a waste of it." But yeah, I'm trying to think of other little funny parts that I wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, something that someone brought up in the Reddit discussion said like Aira would love the Chainsaw Man universe because she can kick all her fears, like everything. Like anything that she could be afraid of has like a physical manifestation she can just kick. That would be.
Can someone? Okay, Rios, I need you. I
don't know if I can.
I need you to please just draw her like kicking.
I mean, I'll consider it.
Okay, well, I'm trying to think of
Ear Devil or something.
A good fear for her. Like, what's something like we're like, canonically we've seen her be.
The future. Didn't she mention that?
Perfect. We need Eri, or it's not Eri. What's her name again?
Like Aira.
Aira. Yeah. We need her just drop kicking the future devil, please. If you don't want to, oh, good.
Yeah, it's the future of like I saw this coming. The future was great. I got to be kicked by a beautiful woman's feet.
I got to be kicked by a thick Brazilian girl. Excellent.
Yeah, the future is awesome. Isn't that what he always says?
Yeah, the future is great. The future. God, that actually. Okay, you know what you could do though, because I know it's probably be pretty hard to draw the future devil because he's a weird looking motherfucker. Like draw him in silhouette. Like he's like in silhouette and she's like running towards him to kick him or something.
Oh my lord.
There's your cop out. God, that'd be so funny though. That's such a great point. Whoever made that point, I wish we had the name of the person who made that.
I could probably look it up real quick.
Only if you. I mean, you could look it up later, and I could like put it in the description or something.
Oh,
That's such a good point. I really want to shout it out. That's excellent. She'd be like, "This is perfect." Everyone else like, "This is terrifying."
She'd actually be one of the the crazy people who do well in Chainsaw Man because they're crazy.
Excellent. It'd be fucking Denji, Asa, and her standing up there about to face the Death Devil.
Oh my god!
I'll kick death back into hell.
It'd be so funny because she probably should be like, oh, I can't kick X because it's because like she'd be afraid, but because you know how she always say like, oh, I can't kick X, but then she'd be like, oh, wait a minute, I can now because oh my god,
like,
that would be. And Chainsaw Man has been referenced in this story several times, so I was like, it's not even an out of left field reference.
They should literally have like a day where they all go to like a manga cafe and they're reading and they're like, you should check this one out. I think you'd like this.
Oh my god, that'd be yeah.
She'd be like, oh, what an amazing. Everyone else is reading it. And they're like, God, this is gruesome and gritty. And then she's reading it and she's like, what a beautiful world. I wish I could live here. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, dude. And yeah, the moment where they fucking... Didn't you just recently say, like, oh, I think they may have retired the joke about grabbing souls?
Yeah, that was hilarious. That was like speak of the devil, basically. Like,
they heard you. One of our running gags that we like to do in Chainsaw Man is pretending that the author watches our reviews.
You know, we're watching all our like 300 view Andy ass in
Mm-hmm.
another language ass videos. It's like, you know what? Just because they said I'm gonna put it in there.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I mean, it's just like, and just, oh, these guys are about to start reviewing the series. Let me just drop 2 ass chapters real quick.
Yeah, that was.
Speak.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the video, like that was like the weakest traits of the series, followed immediately by the strongest trait of the series.
Preceded by the strongest too. It was
Yeah.
like a triple fucking like we're on a
Yeah.
roller coaster right now. It was like one of the best chapters of the whole series.
That is 100 Girlfriends. It's just a roller coaster.
That's what I told Andrew. Now that I've gotten him into the series, I was like, all right, man. You know, you're gonna have like 10 girlfriends introduced that are like really, you know, normal, sweet, you know, really cute girls, and then you're gonna have a left curve like some underage cousin, and then we're gonna come back to it. I just need you to be prepared that there will
You're
be
gonna be whiplashed quite a bit, but just know that it's all worth it in the end.
stay the course, steady on. Now I think the most important thing to mention.
Yeah.
The next time is getting my
Number-
little fucking.
I love that.
Woo! My little
Like, they don't
fucking.
even have to say that. Just number 30. We all know what.
My nuts are quaking right now, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait to add the next girlfriend to my like freaking like
The tier list.
looking ass to my, well, not even that,
Oh.
like because I still have that like that folder of like the icons of their faces, like yeah, but yeah.
I think we should start a thing too, where like every like handful of chapters we should update our tier list if anyone's moved around. I need to get the file of mine as well. We can both have our own individual tier list so we can update them, and then when a new one drops, we can put them. You know, obviously one chapter, and we won't know a lot about them, but we can do like the initial placement and then move it around. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's gonna do something like special, because 30 feels like such a milestone. Who was the
Just literally,
20th?
we're already like we're already 3/10 of the way through. Oh, the 20th was the 21st was Sue, I think.
Boo,
20th.
mid.
20th was the second May.
Oh,
Maybe.
oh God. Never mind.
Yeah, like F tier go for you.
What a fucking stint of chapters for me. That was a rough period
Girl,
for me.
10th girl was Mimi, the beautiful girl.
What the hell?
So if the pattern holds, girl number 30 is not going to be a favorite of yours.
That's
but,
gonna
yeah.
be interesting to see if the pattern holds.
And
Every
the 25th girl was Tama.
Well, that's peak, obviously.
15th girl was Momiji, and
peak.
the 5th girl was Kusuri. So it's like
Little. She's like D tier for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. All right, no pattern there, but you're onto something with the 10-20 situation. That's interesting. Wow.
so interesting.
I'm so excited to see the
Yeah,
next.
I can't even begin to like I was trying to like maybe like
There's no way
like
to
say
predict.
isolate some like dimensions on which they might vary, like say age, but I mean like we have basically every single like almost every like age like I mean like I
Bracket.
usually might have like we have like 50-year-old girlfriend.
Truly,
That would be-
anything is possible.
Yeah.
Here's what we should do though. Just for fun, even though it's like such a shot in the dark, we should both make like an oddly specific prediction, and if either one of us is right, we should like get a reward or something.
Or like whoever's closest kind of thing.
Whoever's closest, but they got to get something. Well, there's got to be a reward. I can't think of. Okay, you know what? If one of us wins, the other one must accept a punishment.
Okay.
I will drink a little thing of hot sauce if you're right, but that's too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do it, but I don't want to put that on you. I feel like I'm such a gambler at heart. I want to add stakes to this.
I mean, some alcohol because I can do that. I mean, I don't.
Okay,
normally drink
okay.
that much. I don't hate it.
So,
it's just,
okay, here's what we'll do. We're gonna both make oddly specific predictions. If one of us is like even like 50% right, they're the winner, and the other one has to take a shot of like strong alcohol before the next review.
all right.
And if we're both wrong, we both take a shot of strong alcohol before the next review.
Oh Lord. Okay. So
Only if you're down. I have
yeah,
I have
totally.
like a whole thing of tequila in my freezer actually.
okay, we probably have to buy some because I think all we have right now is just like wine just wine in the house. But
Tipsy review. If we're both wrong.
oh my Lord.
Okay. Here's gonna be my oddly specific prediction. All right, I am ready for the twins. I want the twins girlfriends. I think it would be a situation. I think the way they'd play it would be like kind of similar to how Kusuri was introduced, where like he sees like the adult form, and then he's like, well, where's the other one or whatever. But in like the opposite direction, where like maybe he sees one and mistakes them for the other, but then starts to realize because he's Rentaro, like, wait a minute, you're not her. And then, like, surprise, we get two at once or something. I think that'd be kind of sick. Or if they want to do it in a different way, he zings with one but not the other. That'd be interesting. And then the sibling of the twin becomes like a prevalent side character. That'd be interesting.
All right.
What's your oddly specific?
I got my writer brain character designer powers. Okay. I'm thinking. Someone who's been in a relationship before. Maybe.
So someone with an ex.
Yeah. So say someone in like their 40s, perhaps. Like they have kids in school or something like that.
Oh God, kids would be that's a good prediction. That's a good oddly specific prediction. Having a girlfriend with kids would be such a that's like, oh my, I'm just imagining that from Rentro's perspective. That throws such a fucking wrench in this because now he's got to like raise kids.
But they don't just have to be like little kids, because I think maybe they might be like in school, or hell, they could even be adults at that point. Like they're.
We do the opposite of the Hikari Hahari. First he fucking falls, he zings with their mom, and then he zings with their kid in college.
Oh my lord!
Is that your prediction then? Someone with a previous relationship?
Be a little more specific than that. Cause that's compared to, well, I guess because you said
I just said twins.
Yeah. Okay. So an older woman with children, like 40s, 50s ish.
Perfect.
Yeah. I think that's good.
Here's what I'll say: we'll only do the drink if one of us, because the way I put it was
obviously.
Yeah. Because at first I said if we're both wrong, we'll both do the drink, and that almost guarantees that we're gonna. So I'll say if one of us is right, the other one takes a shot before the next review, and you're doing it on recording, so we can hear you go.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm normally a sipper when it comes to alcohol.
I want to see it shot. I want to hear the clink.
I gotta feel that fire going down my throat. Good lord.
All right, that's fun. That's fun. See, that's how you drive engagement. You got to make little games out of things. Yeah. I know how to make content.
I have another way of driving engagement. So
nudes.
Well, I mean, I guess. But, you, dear viewer, you may not be able to take out the future with a kick, but you know what you can take out? The like button. Like, comment, and subscribe, everyone.
That's beautiful. What he said.
Yeah.
Should I end with that? That was so good.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, fucking kick that like button. And
don't be like Ara. Just kick all your problems.
Be like Ara, kick all your problems.
Including not being subscribed, not commenting, and not liking.
Yeah, if only Ara knew that she could solve her fear of not being subscribed to Chaos Squared by kicking that subscribe button. And if only May knew that she could solve her cravings for serving by I was gonna say she could serve a click to the subscribe button.
Yeah, because she wants to put everyone else's desires above her own, and my desire, May, is for you to like, comment, and subscribe.
Mm-hmm. And Hahari could breastfeed the subscribe button with her the huge natural.
Oh my lord!
Peace. I'm leaving.
Like Natty, there's nothing more free than liking what you like and commenting if you comment. Like, that's totally free. Like, oh my lord.
Oh, all right. Should we end?
Yeah. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye. That was genius.